Hello, and welcome to the Whispers of Hope show. I'm your host, Alice White. Today we have a very special guest joining us on the Whispers of Hope. Her name is Deb Larson from the organization Abounds Here, and she has a lot of information about the real seriousness of homelessness. And she also has some amazing solutions for us. Thank you for joining us. Hi Deb, how are you doing today?
Hi Alice, I'm very happy to be here.
Great, I'm glad to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
I understand you have a lot of information for us today and some insight to homelessness and the seriousness of it, and some really good solutions. So I guess I would ask you, how are you involved and in the situation of homelessness, and what exactly is this organization Abounds Here? What's that about?
Well, Abounds Here was formed about 5 years ago by Susie LaFergie and her friend, and they're friends of mine.
Okay.
And they set it up so that they could provide basic needs that homeless people have for food, clothing, shelter, and camping gear, and other items like that. We help them to get to doctor's appointments and a variety of different services that they need.
Okay, so two women started this organization?
Right.
I think that's wonderful, and you're a part of that.
And I'm a part of that.
So how did you get to be a part of this organization?
Well, I started out in 2016, or not 16, it was 18, I think. And I was working with the point in time survey that they do once a year annually for the county. And all the counties in the U.S. Do that survey every year to see how many people are homeless. And they also study, what are the causes of homelessness, and how did people become homeless, how are they where are they living, that type of thing.
Okay, so it's like a census of trying to really get down to brass tacks on how many are homeless in a certain area.
That's right.
So what do? Do you interview these people? Do you go find the homeless? What do you do? How do you find this?
Basically, when I've done the homeless count, we tried to have a meal or something happening that would draw them in, but we find them at the churches where they're doing a free meal, or food banks, or the library sometimes, on the street. I mean, wherever they're hanging out.
So you just walk up to them and start being a friend to them and talking with them, or?
We just ask them, for their permission to talk to them and to see if they're willing to participate, and most people are.
Okay.
There are a few people who will not want to be interviewed and are either not feeling good that day or just not feeling sociable. So we honor that if they don't.
Of course, and you're there to be a friend and to help them.
That's right.
And that's the whole situation. So with this census, so to speak, what exactly do you find out from that?
Well, one of the big takeaways that I have from the census is that people become homeless mostly for the reason that they lose a job and or are evicted. So those two causes are the big ones for homelessness in our area. The other things that also can contribute to that are having illness, either physical or mental illness, or a disability. And of course, drug addiction can be a part of that, or with younger people, aging out of the foster care programs can cause them to suddenly just not have housing.
Okay, so when they're 18, they're no longer eligible for foster care, so here they are.
That's right.
That's really sad, Deb. That's
it
sad.
Is.
Okay, so this census, it takes everybody into consideration and then tries to figure out exactly how many are homeless, like in a given area. Then what happens when you get this census? What happens then?
Well, basically, we're looking at the total numbers of homeless,
Okay.
And that's one of the things that we look at, and that's basically for Thurston County in 2021, we counted almost 1,000 people homeless.
That's unbelievable.
995. That's
amazing.
a lot of people.
That's a lot of people just in Thurston County
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
my
in
goodness.
my area, which is Yelm, Washington, is a smaller town, and we have a couple of other towns that are close to us, McKenna and Pierce County, and also Roy and Rainier are close. They're all within 5 miles of Yelm. So we counted people in all that area, and we came up with about 52 precisely for our count. But we knew that there were about 15 additional people who lived in a camp that had COVID, so we didn't go in there and count people.
Of course, but you were aware of it. and
But we
that's
know
what
we
counts.
have about 65 people at
Oh
least.
my goodness. Okay, so let me ask you this. How did you personally get involved with Love Abounds Here? How did it affect you, or why did you want to be a part of an organization like this?
Well, I have to go back and say I almost was homeless.
You were.
And that was a big part, I think, of my
Okay.
heart changing to
Okay.
want to be helping people who were homeless. I realized that homelessness can happen to anybody.
Anyone.
I was 50 years old, and I had a very responsible job with the Multnomah County in Portland, Oregon, and I was in charge of setting wages and doing negotiation with the unions and so on.
Wow.
And I had a breakup with my fiance,
Okay.
and after that happened, I became quite depressed.
Yes.
And I was also having health issues that became worse. My diabetes
Okay.
and my fibromyalgia became worse because of stress.
Depression.
Really, and the depression just
Yes.
made everything that much
Yes.
worse.
Yes.
So, and as a result, I wasn't able to keep up with my duties,
Okay.
and I was let go from my job.
Oh,
So
how sad. Okay.
I ended up being jobless and depressed, and having to be in the hospital for a little while to start to get better.
Okay.
But I still was not functioning well enough to really look for a job. So I had to figure out how to live without any income coming in, which was
That would be
not
terribly
good.
hard. Right.
I was able to rent out my townhouse that I lived in,
Okay.
and I was able to live in my RV for a period of time, and that was a good thing. But eventually, I got sicker with pneumonia, and I had to really get out of the cold weather and the living in the RV. So I went, and I also lost my home around that time. So I had no home, no place to be, and
No job.
No job. So I ended up living with my brother and his wife, and also with my mother and
Okay.
my aunt. But if they had not been there for me, and if God hadn't been watching out for me, I would have been in the same place as a homeless people
Homeless
are.
person.
Yeah,
Wow.
it could easily have happened. But fortunately for me, you know, I was provided a way out of
You had
homelessness, and I eventually was able to get a job and get back to work and have
Awesome.
a apartment and so on.
So a lot of people don't have family; they have no one.
That's right.
So they could
Right.
be people with good jobs, and here they are.
Yeah, if they don't have the family and social support, that can definitely happen.
Absolutely. So that in fact opened up doors for you.
Well, it made me really aware that, you know, we need to be sensitive to
Yes.
the needs of the homeless, and
Yes.
they aren't just a bunch of losers who are
No,
addicts
exactly.
or whatever. Some have addictions, some have mental health issues,
Right.
some have physical issues.
Right. Can't be judgmental of people.
Yeah.
You also talked to me a little earlier about your parents. Tell me about them and their situation, how they help people.
Well, my parents were very devout Baptist people and very good Christians, and they, when they found people, and I think they had grown up in the Depression, so they knew that people sometimes fell on hard times, and so if they found somebody who was homeless or on the road, I had a fellow come home with me one night when I was a teenager, and he was hitchhiking across the country, but didn't have a home and didn't have food and things. So my parents just welcomed him in and said, "You need a shower? Here's the shower. Here's the clothes to change. We'll wash your clothes. We'll give you food, and send you on your way."
So you were brought up with that compassion for others.
I just learned that that was the way that you are. I mean, that you don't just turn your back on people.
That's true. In today's society, of course, things have changed, and people don't let people into their homes because of, you know, everything that's going on in society around us, of course. But these organizations that you're involved with, tell me a little bit more about when you have a situation and someone is homeless, the different avenues that these people can actually get help from. Isn't there community resource fair that we had talked about?
Yes.
I would love to hear more about that, Deb.
The community resource fair is one idea that we came up with. I was part of a City of Yelm task force on the homeless, and we studied the different issues with the homeless and how they could be helped. And one of the ways that we came up with was this community resource fair, which is to bring, so it's intended to bring the resources that are in Olympia and Lacey and Tumwater and bring it here to Yelm to help people where they are, because it's very difficult for people to get around and find the different agencies and organizations.
Exactly.
And so we bring them all here to Yelm, and we have a fair once a month. And the kind of people who we invite to present their information and to help people are like the Community Action Council is very important right now.
And what do they do?
And they do a lot of different things, including housing and food and all kinds of things. But right now, what they're involved in a lot is eviction prevention.
It's a big issue right now.
Big issue of eviction. And now that the moratorium is going away, people will start to get, notices that they are being evicted and for non-payment of rent. And the Community Action Council can provide rent. They have funds to be able to help people with back rent and pay the landlord the rent that's owing, but they'll have to qualify. And some of the things that they're looking at are, how much is your total annual income, and have you been unemployed? Were you impacted by the COVID virus? And if you were, then they will be able to help you set up to have a check given to your landlord, and the back pay will allow you to stay in your house.
Stay in your house and not be on the street.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So at this resource fair, where exactly is that held at in Yelm?
Well, our resource fair is held at the community center, which is right next to the city park. And right across, just down the street from the City Hall. So it's all on 2nd Street.
2nd Street in Yelm.
301 2nd Street, southeast in Yelm.
Okay, so you mentioned community action is there. Name some more for us, Deb, that come to this.
I wanted to especially tell you about the Dispute Resolution Center, which is going to have a great program to help with the evictions also.
Perfect.
They have a program that's called the Eviction Resolution Program.
Okay.
And if people get a notice in the mail, a letter or some kind of notice, they should immediately, if it's an eviction notice, go to Dispute Resolution Center and get their self signed up for this eviction resolution program. They have 14 days to contact them and get signed up. And if they do, they and their landlord will participate in a mediation process that will help them to come up with a solution, hopefully, so that they're able to get their rent paid, maybe pay back a little more slowly or something, or have set times when they have to make a payment, but allowing them to stay in their housing, which is the aim of the whole thing.
That's wonderful. And there's a website, of course,
yes,
where people don't have to come to the resource fair to actually speak with them.
Let me give you the name of the website is mediatethurston.org.
Okay, simple.
And there's also a phone number, which is 360-956-1155.
Okay, we will also have that.
And they will you'll have that on
on the screen. Yes, where people can see it.
And I also wanted to tell people about the Community Action Council, because they can get started right now, and it's better if they start sooner rather than later, because the funds will be there for as long as, first come, first served.
Sure,
so,
of course.
That website is caclmt.org. And then you would look for the housing option, and that will show you the way that you get signed up for an intake appointment. And then you would bring your documents and be able to show,
and sign up for it,
what your income is, and so on.
See how you qualify.
And that number is 360-438-1100. Then you press 8 and then 2.
Okay.
And that will get you through to the sign up for the rent assistance.
Okay.
And also they have utility assistance, which I forgot to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They have both of those.
The same website, same phone number?
Same phone number.
Same organization?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then other people who we have at the Community Resource Fair are the Family Support Center. Which has all kinds of services that they provide to families that are in need. And they will help with getting people housing and food and health care and whatever they need at the time. They can have shelter in a temporary shelter in the Family Services Shelter, and they also can get help with vouchers to stay at hotels or rental or something. And so they can get into housing eventually.
A lot of options there.
A lot of options. And the military also has a group that come out and provide help to families who are, belong to the military.
That's wonderful too.
That's great. Yeah, and they're there every time. And we've also had Safe Place, which is a organization that helps people who are dealing with domestic violence and sexual abuse or assaults. And this time we had the crime advocacy group come out, and they help people who have been victims of crimes. And we have some other folks that come, including the chemical or the chemical dependency help. We have Capital Recovery Center is a great
wonderful
one.
Group.
that comes out and does outreach to Yelm.
Okay. And they help people with any type of addiction.
Right.
Okay.
Any type of addiction.
And they're not there to judge or
no, they just take people where they are
and they're
and
there to help them.
try to help them. They have a variety of programs, including a Butte clinic, which is a clinic that provides a medication that can help with opioid addictions.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which is a big issue these days.
It is, yes, yes. And methadone as well, methadone clinics?
Yes, they also have a methadone clinic.
Okay, and what about if a person needed legal advice or legal help? And of course, being homeless, there's obviously no money for lawyers. What do they have there for people that need that?
We have 2 legal organizations that come to mind. One is Thurston County Volunteer Legal Services. They come when they are available, and so does Northwest Justice Project, which is a local, they're all nonprofits, they're all volunteer.
Wonderful.
And they do a wonderful job helping with a variety of problems that are non criminal justice. It has to be something, you know, that's more civil matters.
Civil matters. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
But eviction would definitely be one of them.
That would be one of them.
And it's an important one. And you can contact either one of those organizations. You can look them up online.
Okay. And what about health care, that type of situation? Is there help for them?
There is. There definitely is. The CMAR Community Health Program has a representative, and also Choice Network, and this time United Healthcare also came to the clinic. So to the fair, and they provide help for people to sign up for the low cost or no cost health care.
That's wonderful. And don't they also have dental care for people?
Dental care as well.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so they can come in and sign up and get help right away, probably.
Right.
From these organizations. Okay. And how long have you been actually in with the organization itself as far as putting together the fairs? I know you have a big part in it. You're an organizer in there. Yeah. You're probably the main part of it.
I took on the job of organizing the community resource fair about 4 months ago, and we've had 2 fairs so far, on the 24th of June and on the 29th of July.
Wonderful.
So, and they both went very well. We'd like to get our numbers up in terms of people who are coming to the fair.
Yes.
And we like to get the word out, so we hope that people will attend, and we plan to have another fair in just a few weeks from now.
All right, that would be in August?
In August.
August sometime, so hopefully every month.
Every month,
the website would tell people too when they would be there.
That's right. And our website is on Facebook at Love Abounds Here.
Love Abounds Here.
And you need to join the website to get most of the information, but it's open, and we welcome anybody to join.
Okay, is that easy to do?
It's push the button, and within a day or so, we will get back to you.
You're in. Okay, so Thurston County, you're saying, is high rate, a very high rate of homeless people. And so as well as these organizations, as let's say I want to help.
Yes.
And I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. What can I do?
Well, one thing you can do is you can volunteer. We definitely welcome volunteers with Love Abounds Here.
Okay.
And we have often have fundraisers online. We have an auction going on now. And we will also probably be doing some Facebook fundraising events. But you can go to our Facebook page. It'd be the best place to connect with us.
To connect, okay.
And we will also have our address and phone number to call online on our card, so you can see
Oh, that's wonderful.
what you can do to contact us, because we would love to have help, and we would
sure.
love to have any assistance that you can make, either financial, or we do take donations of things like tents and sleeping bags
Okay, all right.
and camping gear and
You mentioned like warm winter coats as well,
warm coats,
hats and that type of thing, because you do that as well. You give clothing out to people and
Yes,
help
we
them
do.
through the
Yes,
bad
we
winter
do.
months as well. Okay, and so these people that we see, you know, that are homeless, after hearing your story, it makes you stop and think. That,
Yes.
you know, that could have been us. That could have been me. And so we're not to judge these people. We're not to condemn them or anything of the sort. Is that we just need to know that they're human beings.
Exactly.
And they're obviously down and out. And the last thing they need is judgmental, critical attitude from anyone, or a bad look or whatever. So as a person that's in these organizations, you have obviously a huge compassion to help people. If you wouldn't mind today, would you look in our camera and just speak your heart to encourage people out there? Maybe they're homeless, maybe they're getting ready to be evicted, and just give them a word of encouragement today that there's really great people out there.
People who are out here who are homeless, or who see somebody who's homeless, just let them know that there are people who care deeply and who really are on your side and who are wanting to help you in any way we can. And we will help you get through those challenges that you have that keep you from moving forward. And it's going to be taking a while maybe, but people are there for you and will be with you. And I hope that you will not give up hope, because there is help out there and there are resources and people who care.
So it sounds wonderful. So there are resources out there. And I really appreciate you coming in today, Deb. And I was thinking in the future, if you would like to come back and share with us and give us an update, you know, keep us posted on how everything's going, especially in your county. But we just say this today, that there are people out there that care. There are resources. And as a homeless person, most of them, they don't have access to the internet. They don't have access, a lot of them don't have phones.
Right.
And that was the other thing you had mentioned as well, is that they can come in to these resource fairs and get signed up for free phones.
Right.
They can get help with any type of internet activity that they might need, as far as maybe even searching for a job or health care, whatever it is, that they can get those needs met. And
Yes, you will have some of that happening at the resource fair, and the next one we're going to have is in August. There's also going to be some places around town in Yelm where we will have open hours when people can go in and get signed up for phones and get signed up for food stamps and health care and
just basic
whatever they
needs.
need.
Yes,
Yeah.
that sounds great. Again, I want to thank you, Deb, for joining us today. And until we come back on the set, I would just say thank you. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. If you would like more information on the Whispers of Hope, or if you would like to share your story on our program, please see the contact information at the end of this video. You can also follow us on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel. This show airs on Comcast Channel 22 in Thurston County on the following days: Monday at 11:30 a.m., Thursdays at 6:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. I want to thank you again for joining us. Goodbye.